What's up, y'all? Hope y'all had a good 4th. Hope y'all were all safe, barbecue, all that good stuff. Um, I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to talk about a difficult thing. I'm going to talk about a very dark moment in my life and how I have gone about avoiding that place. Um, I did a video yesterday, and some would say that I chickened out when it came to posting it because of because of the topic. Yesterday, I drove into the mountains, and I went to the very place where I went to take my life a couple years back. Um, it was definitely a dark moment. I was going through a lot of things. Um, I don't know. My head was not in a good place. But the reality is that day, I got in my car, took a bottle of Jack Daniels and my 45, and I did not plan on coming back. I went out there and I drank pretty much that whole bottle. And at the point when I got ready to do the deed, I was so drunk I couldn't even see my gun. And I passed out there on a rock, on the side of a damn mountain. Um, I woke up to my mother calling. Never told my mother about this. I woke up to her phone call. She was calling to check on me. Some people believe things, some people don't believe things. I personally know what I believe. I know what I believe happened that day. Um, but that's not what we're talking about right now. You know, I will briefly say this. There are so many. I'm going to skip the science lesson of it, but there are so many things around us that we are just incapable of perceiving. Um, our what we can see is limited. What we can touch is limited. What we hear is limited. It's all limited. We are. I don't know what the number would be, but let's say for the sake of numbers, we're probably at best only able to observe and perceive 5-10% of what's going on around us. Um, Tools of science allow us to go a little bit further, but still, we cannot perceive but so much. I think it's impo. I don't think you can someone can say they don't believe in God or a God or any supreme being, but all things considered, there's so many things going on around us that we don't see, we can't perceive, that I think it's impossible to say that. I think it's impossible to definitively say there's nothing out there. Okay? I mean, the reality is, can we prove there's something out there? No. Can we prove there's not? Absolutely not. But to get back to the point, the the thing that I really learned during that was how important it is to quiet the noise around you. Figuratively speaking, not just what you hear, but all the craziness that's going on in the world around you. You have to be able to block that out. Um, I think the best way I can describe that is if you've ever been in your house when the power goes out and it just gets completely silent. It's very easy to think you can block everything out, but the thing is, you're not even aware of all the things that you're actually hearing. When the power goes out, all the electronics, the little tiny buzzing that's constantly happening everywhere you go, all of a sudden it's gone, and you can hear things differently. Same thing with a hurricane. I've been out in the eye of a hurricane once, and it was very, very eerie. Everything was quiet, everything was silent. And it's interesting what you can hear when you don't hear anything. But that being said, to get to the point, I look at this whole thing like a lake. Okay? If you walk up to a lake and you look at it, if the wind is blowing, if the water's choppy, you're not going to be able to see anything. You're not going to be able to see in the lake. You're not going to be able to see your own reflection. You have to be able to calm that water. You have to be able to quiet the noise and bring peace just for the moment, even if it's just for a moment. You have to be able to bring that peace. But here's the thing. So when let's say uh, um, you can calm the water. And you look in it. Here's something that is very important to understand about this. So for me, when it comes to finding clarity in that time of turbulence, not only do I quiet the water, but I have to make sure that I can see in the water. If the water's too murky, if the water's got too much gunk in it, I'm not going to be able to see in it. If my life is dirty, if I'm not living right, if there are reasons that were in my control, that whatever that is causing the turbulence, then that's a problem. That's a problem, and I have to figure out how to clear the water. But then there's this. You can't see in the water if it's too bright outside. And I would use this metaphor when it comes to, looking for answers from inside. That voice that comes when it's bright and you look in the water, you'll see your reflection. You generally can't see very well in the water when it's really bright. That's the way it is with life. I think when everything is going well, everything you're happy, everything is going the way you want it to. You look at that water, and all you see is the reflection of the beautiful bright sky and yourself. You can't see in the water. The voice that you hear in your head, that's just you. That's your voice. But if if you can see in it, if you can see into the water, maybe there's a different story there, right? And unfortunately, you don't get to really see in the water until it starts to get cloudy. That's your best opportunity anyway to see what's in the water. But when it's cloudy, if you can calm that water, you can see in it. You can see your path. You can see the path that you have to take. But you can't do that unless you can't do that unless you're able to clear your mind. Clear your mind, clear your body. I mean, the worst is when it gets dark, because then you can't see the water at all. You can't see in the water, you can't see your reflection, you can't see anything. And those are the times that sometimes we turn and run. The problem is, if you run the wrong way, you're going to run right into the water. And the problem when it's dark and you're in the water, you can't see which direction to swim. And God forbid that if you get underwater, you can't tell which direction to swim to go up to get air. And before you know it, you drown. You have to be able to clear your mind. Find peace in that moment. Look into yourself and figure out what it is that you could do to make things clear. And then find that path. I hope this message helps someone. I'm pretty sure I mentioned it at the beginning of the video. I shot I basically recorded a video when I went out to that spot yesterday, and I didn't I didn't feel like it was the right time. But then, here again, that little voice in my head, when I woke up this morning, it said that maybe there's somebody out there who has to hear this today. You know, we're in tough times right now. A lot of people losing jobs, a lot of people having problems, you know, all kinds of different problems. Find that peace just for a moment. All right? Y'all have a good one.